The depths of Earth's oceans are mysterious and eerie, filled with shadowy corners and strange creatures unlike anything on land. No one truly knows everything that's happening down there, and every day new discoveries are made beneath the waves. From sunken pirate cities to unbelievable encounters, here are the 15 strangest things found by deep-sea divers. Number 15. Sunken Pirate City. Port Royal, Jamaica, was everything you'd expect from 17th-century pirate life. The city was full of all sorts of individuals displaying questionable behavior. Many were responsible for vigorous looting, treasure hunting, alcohol consumption, and gambling. So, it's no surprise that Port Royal was often described as the wickedest city on Earth. However, the wealthiest port in the West Indies met its bitter end on the 7th of June 1692, following a heavy earthquake that resulted in almost the entire city sinking into the sea. Over 300 years on, Port Royal has become one of the biggest and most sought-after archaeological sites in the Caribbean. Unfortunately, very little of the city was recovered, and it wasn't exactly mapped out either, at least that's what we thought. A project from the University of Nottingham has utilized optical mapping and robotic technology to scan the lost city in high resolution. It's hoped that the results of this will help support the hopes of Jamaica's application to obtain World Heritage status for the site. The aftermath of the earthquake and the sinking left over 1,600 people dead, and a city that only existed for 37 years ruined and submerged. The archaeological site holds plenty of significance today. When the earthquake struck, it preserved many aspects of the daily existence in the city at that exact moment in time. The city now lies sealed under the silt in Kingston Harbor. Number 14. The Pyramid of Yonaguni. The Yonaguni Monument is a rather intriguing and large rock formation found underwater just off the coast of Yonaguni, Japan. There has been plenty of argument in the past about just how natural the site is and whether it's been modified throughout history. Many believe that it is a man-made structure, while others have considered the extraterrestrial to be responsible. The structure is said to be part of an ancient civilization that lived on Earth well over a millennium before us. Many agree that it seems to take the shape of an ancient landing platform. The monument contains pretty fine sand and mudstones, which it is argued were deposited around 20 million years prior. Most of the formations are connected to the underlying rock mass, while the main feature of the monument is a rectangular-shaped formation that measures about 150 by 40 meters and about 27 meters tall, and its top is about 5 meters below sea level. Number 13. Russian Empire Submarine SOM. A very lengthy search and salvage project was recently completed after 20 years of hard work. OceanX's team worked together with AI Explorer in order to construct a special salvage vessel that they named Deep Sea Worker. This vessel recently arrived in Sweden with a cargo load of cognac and liquor that is said to age back over a century. The bottles were discovered in the wreck of a ship that sank during World War I, believed to have been torpedoed by a German submarine. The ship was carrying luxury goods, including the rare liquors, which were intended for the Russian Imperial court. The salvage operation was particularly challenging due to the depth of the wreck and the fragile nature of the bottles, which had to be carefully retrieved to avoid breakage. Advanced robotics and AI technology were used to map the wreck site and safely extract the cargo, marking a significant achievement in underwater archaeology. The liquors were found in remarkably good condition, with the cold, dark environment of the seabed helping to preserve their quality over the decades. Experts believe that the bottles could fetch millions at auction, given their historical significance and rarity. The discovery has also sparked interest among historians, who see it as a window into the opulent lifestyle of the Russian aristocracy before the fall of the Romanov dynasty. The find has been described as one of the most significant underwater salvage operations in recent history, blending cutting-edge technology with a deep respect for the past. The deep-sea workers' purpose was to salvage bottles at a reasonable depth between Sweden and Finland waters. The importance of this find should not be overlooked. Not only were the cognac and liquors considered rare, but they also formed part of an important piece of Imperial Russian history. The Cardis, the owner of the Benedictine brand, were understandably excited to hear of the findings, as the brand stretches back well over 500 years when it was first created by French monks. Being left to ferment for that many years, it's likely to be some very strong liqueur. Number 12. The Lion City. The Lion City, otherwise known as Shirchong, is an ancient city that over time became submerged. It now lies at the foot of Lushi Mountain, about 25 to 40 meters beneath the spectacular Qingdao Lake in China. In 2014, there was renewed interest in the sunken city from officials following the strange discovery that the city, which spent over 50 years underwater, is somehow still completely intact. The preservation of the city is attributed to the lack of sunlight and oxygen at its depth, which has prevented significant erosion and decay. Divers exploring the site have marveled at the intricate stone carvings, including lions, dragons, and phoenixes, which remain as detailed as they were centuries ago. The city's gates, walls, and even wooden beams have been found in remarkable condition, offering a rare glimpse into ancient Chinese architecture. Archaeologists believe that Shecheng was a highly advanced city for its time, with a well-planned layout and structures that reflected the cultural and artistic achievements of the Eastern Han Dynasty. The underwater city has become a hotspot for adventurous divers, who describe the experience as swimming through a time capsule frozen in history. Efforts are underway to document and map the city using advanced underwater imaging technology, ensuring that its legacy is preserved for future generations. The discovery has also sparked discussions about the balance between progress and preservation, as the decision to submerge the city for the hydroelectric project remains a controversial topic. The site has inspired documentaries and articles, drawing attention to the hidden treasures that lie beneath the surface of Qingdao Lake. The structure was opened to tourists as a diving attraction and a convenient underwater museum in 2017. Filled to the brim with unique architecture and carvings that date back almost 1,400 years, it is a spectacular sight. This ancient city appears to have been built sometime during the Eastern Han Dynasty, roughly around 25 to 200 AD, and was first set up as a county around 208 AD. It was also once the center of politics and economics in the eastern province of Zhejiang. In 1959, the Chinese government made the rather questionable decision to construct a hydroelectric power station. This power station included the construction of a man-made lake that fully submerged Shecheng under 40 meters of water. A sad day for history, but a step forward for power generation. Number 11. Underwater structures of Zakynthos. Divers and researchers were certain they had discovered a lost Greek city, ruins that were a result of a perished city from tidal waves hitting the shores of the island of Zakynthos. However, new research has unraveled the true circumstances of these ruins. These findings were published in the Journal of Marine and Petroleum Geology and have pointed out that the site was the result of a natural geological phenomenon that took place around the Pliocene era, some 5 million years ago. Discovered by snorkelers, various experts then carefully examined the site. Scientists used X-ray and microscope techniques to see if they could further unravel details of mineral content and texture of the underwater formation. The research team found that donut-like hard solid masses were something of a subsurface fault that allowed gases to escape from its depths. The solid masses rarely form in seawater but can be quite common in microbacterial sediments exhumed by natural erosion. They were left exposed on the seabed. The research team was certain that such a phenomenon was extremely rare in such shallow waters and is unlikely to occur regularly, hence the interest. Number 10. Cleopatra's Lost City. Cleopatra's ancient ruins are well and truly submerged at this point, having sunk into the sea well over a millennium ago. Like many ancient cities and ruins, historians and scientists are convinced that earthquakes and tidal waves had something to do with the eventual end to Cleopatra's city and iconic palace. The ruins can be found under the Mediterranean Sea just off the shore of Alexandria, which is a large Egyptian city. The city was once a thriving hub of culture, politics, and trade, serving as a symbol of Cleopatra's power and influence during her reign. Archaeologists believe that the palace and surrounding structures were part of the royal quarter, which included temples, gardens, and grand halls. The underwater site has revealed fascinating artifacts, including coins bearing Cleopatra's image, fragments of columns, and intricate carvings that hint at the grandeur of the lost city. Divers exploring the ruins have described the experience as stepping back in time, with the seabed acting as a natural museum preserving the remnants of a bygone era. The discovery of these ruins has provided valuable insights into the architectural and artistic achievements of ancient Egypt during Cleopatra's rule. Efforts to map and document the site have been aided by advanced technology, such as sonar imaging and underwater robotics, allowing researchers to uncover details that were previously inaccessible. There is even talk of creating an underwater museum, where visitors could explore the ruins through glass tunnels or guided dives, bringing the ancient world closer to modern audiences. Though there is little information on the lost city, there have been great leaps to revive and recover significant portions of it, with excavations going underway in 1998. Many things were discovered during this process, such as shipwrecks, a statue of a goddess, and also a sphinx. There's plenty of ground to cover down there, so it wouldn't be surprising if there's still more to find 2 decades on from the initial excavations. Now it's time for today's topic. In the depths of the Indian Ocean, a seasoned deep-sea diver made a discovery that has left the scientific community baffled. While on a routine dive to explore a remote underwater canyon, the diver encountered a massive, shadowy creature that defied all explanation. At first, he thought it might be a whale, but as the creature moved closer, it became clear that this was something entirely different. The creature, estimated to be over 20 feet long, had a smooth, dark body with an unusual shape that didn't match any known marine species. Its head was massive and rounded, with a single piercing eye that seemed to study the diver. The creature moved with a slow, deliberate grace, exuding an almost otherworldly presence. The diver, who has spent decades exploring the ocean, swears it was not a whale, shark, or any other known animal. Marine biologists are now analyzing the diver's footage, but so far, no one has been able to identify the creature. Some speculate it could be a previously undiscovered species, while others suggest it might be a relic from prehistoric times. Whatever it is, this encounter has reignited the mystery of what truly lies in the uncharted depths of our oceans. Number 9. The giant pyrosome. So, after much research and investigation, it's obvious there's no other place on Earth that is home to more bizarre creatures than the ocean. Pyrosomes come under this category. These gelatinous, free-floating marine invertebrate animals occupy the upper layers of the ocean and particularly so in warmer seas. These creatures are shaped like cylinders and are made up of colonies of thousands of individuals. These colonies differ in size. Some are less than 1 centimeter, while others can be several meters long. The individuals of each colony are called zooids and are only millimeters in size. They are embedded together to form the gelatinous tunic, making them somewhat whole as a result. Each zooid opens to the inside and the outside of the tube to filter the ocean water to the colony, whilst also extracting microscopic plants that they feed on. The colony is rather bumpy from the outside, each bump representing each individual zooid inside. Pyrosomes are planktonic, like the evil little green chap who features in the cartoon SpongeBob SquarePants. Because they are planktonic, they don't necessarily control their movements. These movements are created by the currents, tides, and waves within the ocean. They are also brightly bioluminescent, which allows them to flash a glowing blue light visible for several meters. Over the years, many sailors have been treated to virtual light shows the glow that pyrosomes reflect. Number 8. Animals chained up. A group of divers were heartbroken upon making a shocking discovery last March. When the group headed out to explore the waters of Koyak, Indonesia, the water surrounding Koyak is beautiful and perfect for tourists. The ideal place to go for a swim, as the water is crystal clear and contains various types of sea life. On top of that, the weather is almost always impeccable. What the divers found there, however, was anything but impeccable. Instead, a nightmare in which they couldn't awaken. At the very bottom of the ocean were an assortment of cages. Inside these cages were 2 dugongs, a mother and a baby. The conditions of these cages were terrible, and the pair didn't look comfortable, with the mother's tail being completely chained up so she couldn't move at all. Dugongs are close relatives to manatees and are currently on the verge of extinction. So, when the divers found out that a fisherman was holding them captive for business purposes, they knew there wasn't a moment to lose. As it turns out, the fisherman was using the dugongs to lure in tourists, and in exchange for money, would allow them to get a closer look and interact with them. The divers asked him to release the poor things. He initially refused but then agreed to the next day. The divers found this suspicious and rightly so. They stayed there to document the situation and posted images all over social media. In response, this gained attention online, and the very next day, wildlife authorities arrived to find them still stuck in their cages. The fisherman had lied. The authorities forced him to release them. Let's hope they didn't take long to recover from their ordeal. Number 7. The Cancun Underwater Museum. The Cancun Underwater Museum is easily the biggest of its kind on planet Earth. Originally known as Musa or Museo Subaquatico de Arte, the museum welcomes a healthy number of tourists every year, with official numbers rising above 700,000 in total. The Cancun Underwater Museum holds an interesting blend of statues ranging from themes such as capital greed to the simplistic, holistic living of the fisherman community. The museum was created in 2009 by sculptor Jason DeCaires Taylor and other local artists, with the goal of combining art and environmental conservation. Each sculpture is made from marine-grade cement, designed to encourage coral growth and provide a habitat for marine life. Over time, the statues have become home to a variety of sea creatures, including fish, crustaceans, and even sea turtles, turning the museum into a thriving artificial reef. The installations are carefully placed to avoid damaging existing coral reefs, ensuring that the project contributes positively to the marine ecosystem. Divers and snorkelers visiting the museum often describe the experience as surreal, as the sculptures appear to come alive underwater, blending seamlessly with the natural surroundings. The museum also serves as an educational platform, raising awareness about the importance of protecting our oceans and the impact of human activity on marine environments. For those who prefer to stay dry, glass-bottom boat tours offer a unique way to view the sculptures without getting wet. The museum's success has inspired similar projects around the world, cementing its status as a pioneer in underwater art and conservation. The place is well hidden, as it's tucked neatly between the islands of Cancun and Isla Mujeres, which is in and around the coast of Mexico. This museum has over 500 life-sized and lifelike installations that are completely submerged by water. It enjoys world preservation status as it promotes marine diversity amongst its installations. This is the perfect spot for all ocean and museum enthusiasts, and who knows, it could be the site of your next vacation. Offer in the joy of swimming around one of the world's most beautiful and scenic artistic pieces and sculptures. But more, could you ask for? If this isn't a true definition of art coming to life, then what is? Number 6. Dvarka. There's always been an element of uncertainty when it comes to India's origins, and the same can be said for its many religious geographical locations. In fact, there are plenty of pilgrimage sites that hold heavy holy and mythological backgrounds. There are also many tales circulating about the location of India's greatest ancient sites, but there's still much to learn about one in particular, Dvarka. This ancient city dates all the way back to 3200 BC, making it older than the Harappan society. According to mythology, Dvarka was the city where the 8th avatar of Vishnu once resided. It is also the place that was considered the kingdom of Lord Krishna, who supposedly built the city. Archaeological evidence of submerged structures off the coast of modern-day Dvarka has reignited interest in the city's historical and mythological significance. Underwater explorations have revealed stone blocks, pillars, and other artifacts that suggest the presence of an ancient settlement. These findings have led some researchers to believe that the city may have been a thriving port, with trade routes connecting it to other ancient civilizations. The discovery of pottery, tools, and inscriptions further supports the idea that Dvarka was a center of commerce and culture. However, the exact timeline and cause of its submersion remain topics of debate among experts. Some theories suggest that rising sea levels or tectonic activity may have played a role in the city's disappearance. The connection between the archaeological findings and the mythological accounts of Lord Krishna's Dvarka continues to fascinate both historians and devotees. The site has become a popular destination for pilgrims and tourists alike, blending spiritual reverence with historical curiosity. Contemporary historians and archaeologists simply ignore the theories of the city being completely submerged by a great wave, but it's certainly possible that the city was hit by something over 30,000 years ago. There was plenty of superstition that the ancient city was under some kind of curse, but whether that's factual or simply a myth is still yet to be confirmed by experts. Number 5. Deep in the Baltic Sea. The ocean is home to many amazing and bizarre creatures, and over the years, researchers have made some truly insane discoveries down in the depths. A vast area, it is a virtual impossibility that man will ever discover all that it holds in any given lifetime. However, professional diver Stefan Hogerborn is forever hopeful of achieving such a feat. The Ocean X team member was a part of a massive discovery in 2011, now labeled the Baltic Sea anomaly. The team, led by Captain Peter Lindberg and co-researcher Dennis Asperg, discovered a strange object that had sunk to the bottom of the ocean. After much research, the object still hasn't been officially identified, with many comparing its appearance to the legendary Millennium Falcon spacecraft from the Star Wars franchise. This would be normal for most marine biologists and deep-sea explorers. However, Ocean X reported that when they came within the vicinity of the object, they experienced many electric malfunctions with their equipment. It was only when they got 200 meters away that things began to stabilize. They since decided that the object was some kind of alien UFO or spacecraft that had miraculously sunk to the bottom of the ocean. Speculation has been rampant since its discovery, with many believing it to have alien-related origins, while others think it could be a sunken ship belonging to the Russians. The mysterious spherical object has set the world alight as millions clamor for answers to its origins and how it came to be there. Number 4. Baia. This Roman city has been compared to cities like Las Vegas. It was almost like a resort that catered to those who were wealthy among the Roman elite. The city was also famous for its hot springs, due to it being located over volcanic vents. Baia was a hub of luxury and indulgence, known for its extravagant villas, lavish parties, and opulent baths. Roman emperors such as Nero, Caligula, and Hadrian were known to frequent the city, building grand palaces and estates that showcased their immense wealth and power. The city was also a center for political intrigue, with many deals and conspiracies rumored to have been plotted within its walls. Its reputation for decadence and excess earned it both admiration and criticism from Roman historians of the time. Archaeologists have uncovered mosaics, frescoes, and intricate marble floors that hint at the grandeur of the city during its peak. The volcanic activity that eventually led to its submersion also contributed to its allure, as the mineral-rich waters were believed to have healing properties. The combination of natural beauty and human craftsmanship made Baia a unique and sought-after destination in the ancient world. Unfortunately, Baia didn't last, as it was sacked and taken apart by Saracens during the 8th century. By 1500, the once beloved city was completely abandoned. Due to the volcanic vents, the water slowly rose around the city, and soon enough, the once luxurious location was no more. Today, the ancient city can be visited by tourists to an extent. It's located in one of only a few underwater archaeological parks. Tourists can see crumbled remains of structures and well-preserved statues through glass-bottom boats. For the very keen, you can scuba dive down and investigate for yourself what was once a great home to many. Number 3. Underwater circles. Many of you will have heard of the mysterious crop circles that conspiracy theorists have a field day with, but have you ever heard of underwater circles? These circles have been called the ocean's crop circles and are suggested to be patterned and over 7 feet in diameter. They were first seen in 1995 in Japan by local divers who deemed them to be much like an enigma. For the next 16 years, researchers, divers, and other water experts scratched their heads, wondering at the origins of these mysterious circles. The intricate designs are not just visually stunning but also serve a functional purpose, as the ridges and grooves help to reduce water currents, protecting the eggs that females lay in the center. The males even decorate the circles with small shells and coral fragments, adding to their appeal and demonstrating their resourcefulness. Scientists were amazed at the level of precision and effort involved, as the pufferfish, which are only a few inches long, create these massive structures relative to their size. The discovery highlighted the incredible creativity and intelligence of marine life, challenging previous assumptions about the cognitive abilities of fish. These circles are typically found in sandy seabeds near coral reefs, where the pufferfish have access to the materials they need for construction. The males work tirelessly for days, often without rest, to complete their masterpieces, knowing that a poorly made circle could mean losing out on a mate. Once the eggs are laid, the male continues to guard the nest, ensuring the safety of the offspring until they hatch. This behavior has drawn comparisons to elaborate courtship rituals seen in birds and other animals, showcasing the universal drive to reproduce and pass on genes. In 2011, the reason for their existence finally came to light when they discovered that pufferfish could create these elaborate designs to attract their female counterparts. Upon further inspection, the fish would spend a fair amount of time constructing their respective circles, using their fins to dig around the sand. It is said that the quality of each circle determines the female's choice of mate, so it's no wonder the males spend so much time perfecting their individual mysterious-looking circles. Number 2. Pavlopetri. Pavlopetri is easily one of the oldest sunken cities in the Mediterranean, as it has sat in place since 3000 BC. Considering its age, it's crazy to think that it was only discovered in 1967. The ruins of the city include many roads, gardens, homes, temples, and even a cemetery. Many urban planners have since been astonished by the city and how it was laid out, some believing it to be better than modern building and city layouts. The city's advanced design included a complex water management system, with evidence of drainage channels and cisterns that suggest a sophisticated understanding of urban infrastructure. Archaeologists have also uncovered pottery and tools that provide insights into the daily lives of its inhabitants, revealing a thriving trade network with other ancient civilizations. The city's strategic location near the coast likely made it a hub for maritime trade, further contributing to its prosperity. Some researchers believe that Pavlopetri may have been a center for Minoan or Mycenaean culture, given its proximity to Crete and similarities in architectural styles. The preservation of the site is remarkable, with many of the stone foundations and streets still intact despite being underwater for thousands of years. Advances in underwater archaeology, such as 3D mapping and remote sensing, have allowed experts to study the site in greater detail without causing damage. However, the delicate nature of the ruins means that even small disturbances, such as careless diving or anchoring, could lead to irreversible damage. The city's submersion has also sparked debates about the impact of rising sea levels and tectonic activity on ancient coastal settlements. Around 2009, further studies took place on the city, and it was theorized that the city was completely submerged due to a series of earthquakes that sunk almost 9 hectares. Despite these earthquakes, however, experts feel as though many of the buildings are still very visible and recognizable today. The site is easily accessible for tourists, although experts aren't particularly thrilled by this, as they would like to preserve the ancient city as much as possible due to its age and architecture. Can't say I blame them, really. Number 1. The Titanic. The Titanic sinking is arguably one of history's most iconic disasters. This past year, some new footage emerged from the site of the shipwreck that hit an iceberg and sank in 1912. This footage is the first that we've seen in 14 years, and it's very eerie in comparison to what's been seen prior. The ship looks rather spooky now and is in the worst shape ever, as it appears to be dissolving from the effects of salt water, strong currents, and bacteria. An expedition that involved 5 dives over a course of 8 days was undertaken by world-renowned ocean explorer Victor Vescovo and his team. They dropped 12,000 feet into the very cold Atlantic Ocean waters using a specially designed submersible to handle the environment and pressures of the sea level. The aim was to capture some new footage for a new National Geographic documentary. This wasn't the first time the team had happened upon the wreckage. However, this time, they were shocked to see just how much the ship had decayed over the last decade. Many of the iconic components of the ship, such as the bow from the "I'm the King of the World" scene from the 1997 film, were now completely unrecognizable and slowly fading away at the bottom of the ocean. The captain's bathtub had also completely disappeared under a collapsed deck. Researchers believe that over the next few decades, the ship will completely dissolve and will be gone forever. This is a sad truth, but unfortunately, it is inevitable. As a sign of respect to those that perished during this great tragedy, the crew laid a wreath down by the wreckage and held a short ceremony to honor those that were lost over a century ago. There are many other great mysteries that have been uncovered by divers over the years, and most of them are just as fascinating. Don't forget to check out our other cool videos showing up on the screen right now. See you next time.